Welcome everyone to another live digital Kava session here on the Polynesian Eyes podcast. We are currently running live on Facebook, YouTube, Patreon, and Instagram. And last but not least, our cousin Elon Musk, who finally gave us Starlink in Tonga on X. So pretty excited. We welcome everyone. Masi, how's everything in your neck of the woods?
Ooh, my neck of the woods in South Auckland is pretty good. Beautiful day today in New Zealand. Pretty clear sky, a little cloudy, but pretty good for this time of the season. Working from home today, I did a little, little stuff between, working from home like everybody else. When you work from home, I did some load of laundry and then took out some cushion because it was a nice day. Some cushion and stuff outside just to air it out because most of the days are always rainy
Mm.
during this time. So it was a beautiful day today, but overall pretty good. How about you? How's good old Texas? That
Dude,
side?
love Texas. Can't go wrong. Um, it was
Feel the
it's
heat?
actually dude, it was actually a beautiful last couple of days. We've had some storms, flood warning
Mm,
here. We've had some thunderstorms, which is nice because it cools down the weather from the heat because
mhm.
it gets pretty hot. And then also it was Latu Tama's birthday on the 21st. Today was Sita's birthday. And
Mm.
Masi, when you were here in Texas, did you have Whataburger?
No, that's one of the things I need to try next time I go to Texas.
All right. So there's a couple things for our non-Texan viewers. I'm
Is
gonna
it better than In and Out? That's always to seem to be the rivals right there.
well, yeah,
Whataburger and
and In and
In
Out.
and Out.
Yeah, I
What's your
mean for a straight up just cheeseburger, I
mm,
prefer Whataburger, In and Out.
In and Out? Okay.
But like for variety of burgers and variety of different things to try,
Whataburger.
Whataburger is pretty good. I mean, big portions, spicy ketchup, but what I wanted to do was to show, let me see, I'm gonna text myself a couple pictures.
Mm,
And then I also wanted to introduce, I mean, you went to Bucky's, right, Mussy?
yes.
So let me do something real quick here. I want to show everyone a couple. I have 7 kids,
Hmm.
and uh, all right, Mussy, we have a comment here. I need you to verify. Renegade says this. All right, Renegade. We have Mr. Atearoa to comment while I work on these pictures here.
Yeah. Renegade, just any specifics like because I've tried the burgers at the was it fish and chips places. To me, that's not that good. I don't know if it's because they don't put the proper mayonnaise that makes a big difference. But yeah, I don't know. I brought my
Yeah.
wife. My wife, she likes the burger. She prefers the burgers in America, especially her favorite is Five Guys in America.
Dude, Five Guys
That
is okay. They're
it's
expensive
okay.
though, man. That's the only thing
Yeah,
about Five Guys.
they're pretty pricey, but that's her favorite. That's her favorite burger place in the world at this moment. So yeah, there's the if you go and dine in, the burgers in New Zealand are pretty good. But I'm talking about like when you go and take out. Yeah, America still does it better. But yeah, if you can be specific, Renegade. If there's a specific place that I haven't tried yet.
He could be being sarcastic because he does have the emoji at the end there.
Okay,
So
okay.
this is what I'm gonna do. So first, I'm just gonna click on this and I'm gonna share something. So 4 of my kids are real Texans, right? So
Like they were born in the state of Texas.
bored, yes. So so this is Sita.
Hmm.
And what was her preferred choice for dinner today? I asked her, Sita, for your birthday. What are you wanting to
Whataburger
do?
bag.
Straight up, she said, I want to go Whataburger.
Mm,
And my house is full of these. Like this is, and they give you this for free. I think if you order anything over $80, they give you that bag. And because I have a big family, right? Every time
yeah,
we go to
yeah.
Whataburger, I'd probably
It's
say
80 bucks.
70% of the time they give us a bag like this because it's seven kids meals and then two adult meals. And then, if
Some side
somebody
burgers, some side,
exactly, if you want any side stuff. So, but just to kind
and
of
it's
show you,
large.
yes. Yes. So Renegade gave some clarification. The Wendy's Baconators here in New Zealand, in and out, good though. Yeah. I will say this: New Zealand's quality of the food and stuff, like the chicken, I think, and maybe I haven't had a ton of burgers, but maybe the beef. I don't know, but I think the quality of the food there is pretty good. So,
Yes, no, and that's the benefit of New Zealand. It's a smaller population.
mm,
Still high premium grass fed meat, which is pretty good quality. But yeah, I mean, yeah, he's right there. I'm not a fan of Wendy's burgers. This is my personal choice. I find them dry. That's just my
really,
thing. Yeah,
really, I
I find
love
them.
Wendy's, man.
I'm not a fan of Wendy's burgers, but that's just me.
Dang, Mushy. I'm surprised to hear that.
Mm, yeah, I
Hey,
always like.
Water Bears, welcome, welcome.
Water
Uh, that's the problem with the digital Kava session, Toko. It's online and the wives can audit. The wives can audit these things, okay? But glad you could make it. I'm
Follow,
trying
follow.
I'm trying to share and open. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Um, we're doing. Uh, I'm trying to show some pictures here, but I wanted to talk about. Um, Let me just share this. Bucky's. I know, Mussy, we didn't get to go to the big Bucky's while you were here. We went to the original, the
Yes, the
very first
first one.
Bucky's. But those who are not from Texas, another thing besides Whataburger is Bucky's. And
Mm,
it is obviously my daughter's baptism there. It is the largest. When I say largest, not the total quantity, this store sizes, just the sizes of their stores, the largest in the world. So this is the brand new Bucky's that just opened about an hour from my house. We drove there, 75,000 square feet.
it's the
Two,
largest.
this is now the largest, probably for another 6 to 7 months, because they're building one in Florida that's going to be over 80,000 square feet.
Okay, you can't have Florida to have the biggest
Well,
bucket where it came from.
that's exactly what my kids said, right? When they found
Yeah.
out Florida, because this is the same thing that happened. The one by my house that we take everyone to, that was the largest in the world. Um, Maria Brown Monk, he said, almost thought Bucky's had a chapel. But it's so coming back. So that was the largest. Then they built one in Tennessee that was, or Arkansas, that was going to be the largest.
Arkansas.
Arkansas. Then people in Texas wrote Bucky's and protested. They
Mm,
said, how in the world are you going to have the largest Bucky's outside of Texas? So
mm,
then they came back about 2 weeks after the complaint. They said, hey, we're going to upgrade the one in Luling, which is off of I-10 between here and San Antonio. Um, Now that's the largest, but they say they're building one in Florida. There's probably going to be another protest once that happens. But just to kind of share with people, look at this. That
it's the
is
real
a
deal.
gas station. You can't even see the end,
No,
right?
and this is the funny thing because in New Zealand you feel like you can fit all the gas station in Auckland into Bucky's. That's how big. That's how
Mm-hmm.
big the gas station is. Just for everyone in New Zealand to have that perspective.
So they have, I think, in here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's one side. So there's 12. There's another 12. So I think there was about 12 or 15. So you're looking at close to 60 bathroom stalls,
Mm,
close to
mm.
60 urinals. And then in the middle is a bunch of, that's where the sinks are. But look at to come in, you just look at the lights and it tells you which bathroom
Yeah,
is
yeah.
available. So they come up with everything, man.
No, and
Um,
another thing I noticed too, even the size, the one that we went to, because it was still a big one. They still keep it very clean and nice and tidy. So that was nice, you know.
yeah, it's they that's one of their signs is the cleanest bathrooms,
Mm.
right? That's one thing they Masi, they have some people pushing back on your review of Wendy's.
Okay, that's just me. Yeah, that's me. So that's because it's funny when we go to Wendy's. My wife likes to go to Wendy's because their drink is American size in
Oh
the
yeah.
Wendy's in New Zealand. So she'll go there for the drink, and then I'm more of a beef patty person, but when I go to Wendy's because I find them dry for me, I order a chicken sandwich, like a chicken burger. So
I'm
but
with
yeah,
I'm with Renegade, man. I don't know how you had a dry Wendy's burger. That like
I've had it multiple times, and it's just yeah,
okay.
not my thing. Yeah.
I'm with you, Renegade. It hurts. It hurts because I love Wendy's, man. But yeah, I wanted to. I thought this was just kind of cool to talk through real quick before we
Mm,
go to our program here. But this section right here um, is the sweets. So they make the pudding, they make the hazelnut stuff. It is all made fresh right there in this area right here. So this is kind of the sweets and everything. The cookie dough, they make all their stuff on site. Um,
mm.
here's another. Yeah, it is massive. Like we were saying, like this one right here is 75,000 square foot. As you can see right here, this is like a home goods section in that area right there. T-shirts, like home stuff, decorations. I mean, we have bunch of Bucky's blankets, T-shirts. One of my daughters, her pajama is a Bucky suit. It's a big thing here, and yeah,
It's a
it's
phenomenon
massive.
because yes, it's a phenomenon. You'll get acknowledged from somebody who's a Texan. They will say, "Oh, I like your Bucky shirt or whatever," because they know it's a big deal. The state of
Hey,
Texas.
hey, Masi, I agree here with Brown Monk, man. Need a Betos or something over there in New Zealand.
Yes, Betos. I think that would do really well. I know for all the New Zealanders that are viewing, probably the best kind of taco Mexican place that for takeout is Tocos Tacos. They just started just last month, I believe, in June.
That's
Fish
in New
tacos,
Zealand.
New Zealand, and it's a Tongan family. Lived in Arizona for about
Oh,
15 years. 15 years. They call it Tocos Tacos. My favorite is the fish tacos. They're pretty legit, and some of their
fish
drinks and
tacos are
stuff are
good.
good. So they're starting off tacos, but hopefully, I think the more they do well, and people are starting to get attracted to their food and stuff. Maybe they'll grow their menu, and maybe add some burritos and stuff. But yeah, New
Is
Zealand
it
does
drive
need
through? Because Brown Monk is looks like he's looking for a drive through. The monks don't have time to go in the store. The monks just got to
yeah,
drive through. The drive through, pick up his burrito
no,
and
and
his taco, and go
that
back to the monastery.
yeah, we do need that. Yeah, we do need that. We all know Auckland space for some reason it's gonna cost you a good pretty buck. That's why it's only those big American fast food like the Wendy's, the McDonald's, the Carl's
Oh, just
Juniors.
because real estate's so expensive in New Zealand.
Real estate is so expensive. But yeah, there is a need. Brown Monk, I agree with you.
See, yeah, malo Brown Monk. Hey, toa malo, welcome.
Malo
Hey,
taolava mo toko. Malo,
malo.
malo.
Oh yeah,
Si
wish.
si toko la he kau nusi la na mamata mai tau
Yeah,
programa tua.
yeah, malo. Now everybody's gonna know that Mussie's review of Wendy's in New Zealand is gonna report you. They should do a horse meat taco, call it Toco Loco. Shit, Water
Hey,
Bears. I
hey,
think I
I
think
know.
you should be a comedian, man.
Oh,
That's what Water
oh,
Bears. Your hidden talent, Toco.
hey, I know the owners of that Toko Taco restaurant. I'm gonna let them know to maybe try diversify their menu, have horse meat. taco, and let's see if that goes. But malo water bears.
And I know I love Texas. I love it a lot, but I will say Arizona, New Mexico, Mexican food is my preference. I kind of prefer that over the Tex-Mex. Which
Because
a lot
Texas,
of yeah,
no, because I would say Texas is more that barbecue,
yeah,
pulled pork. I think they've kind of put their energy into that. They're the king.
brisket,
Yeah.
all that good stuff. But as for those who are joining, we're going through one of the phenomenons here. Here in Texas. And I say this is even for people in America who come to Buc-ee's, they're in shock, right? They can't believe that this is a gas station and not just a normal gas station. Semi trucks are not allowed into the parking lot. So this is just normal people driving, and they make this massive. And I'll get through here real quick, just show some of the other pictures. So this is the sweets section, right? They make all the sweets right there for you. The jerky section. So this whole section is just fresh jerky, dried sausages, and they have all kinds of things just right there. And then in even this section right here, that's like burritos. You can get
Where's
burritos, tacos. There's the bakery section there. You can get cookies, all kinds of stuff in there.
where's the section that they sell the sandwiches rib? That's one
Oh yeah, right
I
here,
really like.
right
They're
here. So this is
it's handmade.
barbecue.
She really enjoyed.
Yep.
Yes, best
So
pulled
this is
pork
the
sandwich
section right
she's
here.
ever had. Yeah.
Yeah. So pulled pork, brisket, sausage, turkey. They make all those barbecue
Right in front
sandwiches,
of you.
even breakfast sandwiches. I mean, this is all in one store, right? And we're about in the middle. So this is like the middle part of the store.
Mm.
So here's the bakery section, right? Ices. This only had 4. We've been in stores that would have like 10 icy machines. So,
Mm.
I mean, I guess technically there's only 4, but there's 4 in each one. So technically 16 options.
This is one I know for sure as a fact. Or maybe you can argue this, Tua. Is the bakery close to New Zealand bakery,
No,
Tua?
no, no,
New Zealand's top. That's what
no.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, yeah,
New Zealand bakery. That's what I know is pretty darn good here.
yeah. No, 100%. I agree. We'll catch up. I don't want to get too far behind our comments here. So we'll just pause there. Let's get more Mexicans here before we get a Mexican spot. Hey, I don't know, man. So far, New Zealand has a fantastic. New Zealand's food is pretty dang good. I was in Scotland, and the Scottish, they claim the meat pie comes from them. I tried to get a good meat pie in Scotland. No
Eh,
bueno, man. It's not the same level as New Zealand.
no, I was just laughing because Renegade say we need more Mexican because I know New Zealand's attracted to the Indians because Auckland, Auckland has the most Indians I've ever seen in my life,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's so
way.
funny. It's so funny to us because I'm not used to being around Indians and they have a certain accent, eh? So
Mm,
sometimes when I go and order and stuff, I don't understand it. And my wife Sarah, she's used to the
she
Indian accent.
understand it. Yeah,
She understands, but I told her, man, I'm more used to the Filipino, Chinese, Japanese accent, but Indian,
Micronesian
no
accent.
bueno, no, no good, no good. So yeah, we need more Mexican, eh?
Hey, Alexander Vanicolo, welcome, welcome. And Brown Monkey Toko in the States, they say we're the big dude. People always think I'm a Miko too. And there's like, man, you gotta be one of the biggest Mexicans I've seen. I was like, yeah, keep looking. You're not gonna find one yet because I'm Polynesian. Um, that looks like our Sylvia Park. Malo, bro. What's Sylvia Park, Masi?
It's one of their biggest malls here in New Zealand. Yeah, it's in
Oh,
Mount Wellington area. Yeah, God loves you. Yeah, that's what he refers to.
okay. No, I mean this place is massive. I mean,
Mm.
it's huge. Like I said, when I was in Europe, I couldn't wait to come back. And honestly, after I've gone to Europe and I see New Zealand, if I want to go to Europe, I think New Zealand is a better option than going to
Way
Europe.
better.
Europe
Way better.
was not my thing, man. Not my thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, Alexander, typically anywhere between an hour and a half and 3 hours. So make your bucket. I will stick around to get you through your bucket, Toko.
Yeah. Malo Alexander.
Hello, Malo Mereka. Appreciate it.
Malo Mereka.
100%, as Brown Monk says. Let's start this is the pre Palu. We're gonna get
Mm,
into the meat of the Palu here in a second. We're just giving an update. We just went to the largest gas station in the world, 75,000 square feet. Just thought that would be kind of interesting to cover real quick because it came up in the conversation. This is the snacks section. So this is, and it even goes a little bit more to the right, but here's the wine section. They even have a wine
mm.
section um of the gas station. Oh, so so that's the wine section. In the snack section, this is the home goods portion. So right, you
Okay.
can come here, you buy pots, pan. I mean, dude, it's crazy. And you
Souvenirs and
souvenirs,
stuff,
all
man.
kinds of stuff. Have you ever been to a gas station? They give you shopping carts when you go through the gas station.
No, no, because it's never big enough. You can't. It's more a
Uh,
grab and go.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, and then you have little barbecue. These are floaties. So that's the tail end of the trip. But yeah, and once again, this is my daughter Sita. It was her
What
birthday today,
Whataburger?
and she's a true Texan, born in so Hurst, Bedford, Texas, close to Dallas area. And
Mm,
homegirl said, "I want for dinner. I want me some Whataburger." So anyways, just thought that was kind of interesting conversation there. But let us jump to what we're going to talk about today.
Get it.
Hey, Mussy, looks like you thought I said he'd love to catch up sometime.
Okay, we'll do.
100%.
We'll do. Malo toa.
Hey,
I'm in South Auckland.
South Auckland, Manurewa, if I'm saying that right.
Yeah. Mm.
And Kurt, Mahalo Taulava, welcome to the digital Kava session here. Brown Monk, Omaike Pukefon, 100%. If you make funny comments like Water Bears, sometimes we give you a whole kumete. We'll
Don't
give
talk
you
too
a
much
whole
about that
kumete.
toa before his visa gets revoked. He said he was going. He has to be a little. He's trending careful.
Yes, that's the one like we were mentioning earlier to Water Bears. He came back and said his wife got hold of some of his comments on the digital Kava session, and his visa almost got revoked. So yeah, Masi, thought I said that when you have a chance, just shoot him a note.
Okay, we'll do.
Looks like Alexander here is getting started with the mix. But with that being said, we're gonna continue. We let's kind of frame our discussion today a little bit. A lot of times, um, when we have the discussions that we have, we're encouraging people to discuss, and we're speaking primarily about ancient Polynesian history. We understand that our history primarily was oral. That's great. That has pros and cons, just like every other concept. But there's also a really important part of the history and understanding. Everybody has as this forum, as the Kava sessions that we've had here. We need to figure out what the truth is, and this is what we mean by it. We're now getting stories that Tahiti, Tangaloa is from Tahiti, Maui is from Tahiti, Fiji, Tangaloa and Maui are from there. We're now hearing that Tangaloa and Maui are from Samoa,
Mm.
all based off of oral history, which adds certain value, and we recognize that. But at some point, we have to say, is there more than just oral history? And we're not negating the value of oral history.
Mm.
So we're gonna frame some of the discussions. I was mentioning to Masi earlier, um, what you call as part of being able to stream on X, we have to be on the premium version of it, so we get access to Grok, which is
AI is here, folks. AI is here, and it's here to
AI is
stay.
here. And so we were messing around with it, just asking certain questions of it. And we decided, you know what? Grok is an outsider. We'll ask him some questions and see what he thinks. So, with that being said, we're going to start our discussion with a few things that Grok has to say. And the first thing that we asked Grok was
Mm.
just to search online, right, on the different data sets and say, which one do you think was an actual empire that existed between the Tu'imanua and the Tu'itonga? And Brock said, based on the information provided, it appears that the Tu'itonga Empire has more evidence of existence as a true empire compared to Tu'imanua. The sources mention that the Tu'itonga Empire was an oceanic maritime chiefdom centered on the island of Tongatapu, which flourished between 1200 and 1500, right? AD. It arose. I don't like the common era stuff. I'm going to stick to AD.
Mm.
It arose when Samoa's Tu'imanua Empire declined around 950 CE. The empire was at its height under the 10th leader Momo and his son Tu'itatui in the 11th and 12th century. The sources also mention the Tu'itonga Empire map, which illustrates the islands under the Tongan sphere and how the canoes and navies were paramount in expansion.
I can get this one, Tua.
Yeah,
So on the other hand, the sources do not provide as much information about the Tuimanua Empire. There is mention of Tuimanua being the highest ranking title and office of all of Samoa, Tonga, and various other islands prior to and during the rise of the great familial titles of Suba'u Polu and Tongatapu. However, there is no detailed information about the extent of the Tuimanua Empire or its influence. Therefore, based on the evidence provided, it seems that the Tuitonga Empire is more likely a true empire with more evidence of existence compared to the Tui Manua. So that's AI version.
yeah. And granted, even here, the AI is saying, it rose out of the Tu'imanua, but then also says, but there's really not too much evidence of the existence of one. Let's go through. It looks like there's some comments here from Brown Monk. There's a detailed Manua list. I have it, but it's now not how most know. Hey, we're open to looking at that. I mean, that's one area we're open to look at all oral histories, and we're gonna dive into some of the concepts that people explain. Like what we do is we hear the oral history, we
Hmm.
think about it, says what makes sense, and then we say, are there archaeological, right, and
Yes.
or evidence that we could find possibly, and that's how you marry oral history to a physical location. That becomes more believable, right? That doesn't mean it's 100,000% bulletproof, but it at least becomes more believable. um and so, yeah, any thoughts on that? That's just kind of my response on that, Masi.
No, no. We would love the list of the Tui Manua because I think on our previous videos, Tua, we did compare and how it was like 14 short compared from the latest, Tui Tonga list to the Manua list. So yes, and then once we can get a list that we believe that is the most correct from the Tuimanua list, and then we'll go start talking about the archaeological findings and behind those title holders. But yeah, definitely interested in the Tuimanua list.
Yeah, share whatever you got with you, Brown Monk, and we can include that. Or if you have a link that you can put in the chat, we can pull it up if you have it online. But if not online, you want to put it on a document, share with us, we can definitely bring that up and have some discussions on it. The next one, any other thoughts, Mussy, just in general on those?
Yeah, no, I mean, like what AI's mentioned, there's a mention that it could have been it's only mentioned in because of course AI is getting all the findings and stuff through the
From
internet regarding
online? Yeah.
online stuff, and it's compiling it and summarizing it into a smaller note that we can take from it. I'm just thinking, yeah, it's pretty much correct. AI is just saying that there was really no existence of Tui Manua compared to the Tui Tonga. Seems like the Tui Tonga seems to be the only existence of an empire in Polynesia. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And then that just, I think what Grok is kind of analyzing there is more data points, right? And
yes,
we're gonna look into it. One of the because I asked Grok, what are one of the main studies that you use to kind of base the understanding, and he shared one that we had mentioned in the past that I remember seeing years ago, and he mentioned one of those. So we're going to pull up one of
mm,
those studies and walk through it. um Real quick, fair question, AJ. In Tongan, Samoa is Ha'amoa,
mm,
and that's how Tongans have always referred to it, because from our perspective, it's the Moa family or the Moa clan
mm,
that left Tonga and went to Samoa. That's our perspective. I think that's important because some people go into this very complex definition of Samoa, using Samoa, saying Sa and the Moa meaning different things. But
mm.
from the Tongan perspective, is we've never referenced
Simple.
Samoa as Samoa. It's always been Hamoa.
Yeah, no, and I think that's the correct definition of what Hatmo was referred to back in the days, because Samoa was a relatively modern term that was only given to a nation once European colonization occurred.
Oh,
From what I
really?
understand, Samoa from because they were kind of separate. Because Tuimanua was you're right. Tuimanua was more of a uh kind of different from Samoa in the sense of being like, because I do agree that maybe Tui Manua could have been the highest title in all of Samoa, but maybe its influence shrunk to just to the Manua, and then the Manua flag also recognizes, which is if we do perceive that they are the oldest, they do have in their flag a representation of a chicken or a
Yeah.
moa. That's I think that plays dividends to what their ancient history of them being referred to as the Moa clan kind of things. But that's just me. I mean, I'm just giving my thoughts there, just trying to make it logically make sense. So if we do perceive that Tumanua in the Samoa Islands, where if they are the oldest, I'm not surprised that they do have a Moa to represent that.
Hey,
So
Nacho, welcome. Thank you for joining.
mm,
Just tell us the
I don't
truth. You're like Water Bears had to negotiate the visa with the wife before you could join the Kava session tonight, but
know.
it's all good. Malo, Nacho. Here's another one. What are your thoughts on this, Masi? Where did the Tu'i Manua title come from? Why use Tu'i? Any thoughts on
Well,
that?
that's a good question. Dewey, because the modern terms of why the Samoan language for any authority or like leadership or kingship kind of thing is tupu. Like that's their modern word for it. Dewey sounds like a more source from Tongatapu with the Tui Tonga. With the Dewey is more what how it is used today, and like I said, it could be a word that came from the Tui Tonga. And because what I share is that the Tui Manua is it could be because based on the evidence we have right now, we're still kind of waiting if there is another list of Tui Manua title holders. But as we compare it right now, that's available to us, it's like 14 list short compared to the going up to Aho Eitu, and it could be Tui Manua could derive from the Tui Tonga line, and that's where they get that name Tui as a title holder. So that's a good question, but I could be the Tui Manua could be a title that was given over there to the Manua Islands Tui from the Tui Tonga. But that's just me just trying to make it logically make sense. But I don't
Okay.
know. What do you think, Dor?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to add here some of the feedback that we've seen in some of our comments on social media. Our Fijian brothers are trying to lay claim that the term Tu'i comes from Fiji. Um, I'm not sure how or why they make that claim. Really hard, right? That's one of the challenges of just going with a linguistical
Oral.
linguistical, oral kind of approach, is it's really hard to lay claim on that, right? They say it comes from there. We say, well, the majority of kings and empire type structures, from my perspective, are from Tonga. The term tui is seems to be tied more to um, king rather than chief, and
Mm,
so I'm not aware of a quote unquote king of Fiji, right? So it was more like chiefly titles rather than kings.
correct.
So I
Region.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so I lean a little bit more that that's probably a Tongan word.
Mm-hmm.
Um and so that's where I kind of lean right now.
Okay.
Another couple comment, I believe the first Tui Manua was Tongan because King in Tongan is Tui and Samoan. Oh, that's kind of going
That's
along
what
with
I said.
what you were mentioning earlier.
Mm,
Mussy is aligned with you on that, AJ. And honestly, I was mentioning this on one of our other podcasts, our live sessions. I Before we started the podcast and started having conversation, I was leaning towards Tui Manua coming from Tangaloa, right? Like one of Tangaloa's sons,
correct.
right? One of
Correct.
Tangaloa's sons
The
gets
early beginnings, in the early
yes.
beginnings of kind of Polynesia. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was open to I was thinking, hey, you know what? That could be an explanation for it. Um because that a lot of what I hear is they come straight from Tangaloa, and we know, just like the Tuitonga, Tangaloa as a chief, one of the benefits, I guess, of being the king, you have a lot of posterity. You have
Mm,
posterity all over the place. But as we dig in, excuse me, as we dig into it more and more, I am slowly turning the corner to think there's a high probability that Tuimanua came
Tuitonga.
during the time of Tuitonga and maybe a descendant of the Tuitonga. I don't know. That's kind of where I am right now.
Mm, mm. No, I do. I do definitely believe that Tui Manua is a high title because there was a reason why during the Tuitonga era they kind of left them alone. It was more going between the islands of Upolu, Savai, and Tutuila. But yes, but now that we're more uncovering this, I'm starting to fall in line that it's more likely uh either a child or somebody of a relative to a Tuitonga. I just don't know which one, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, that's I'm in there as well. Alexander had a comment. Anything on Hamoa Beach in Maui and Kona on Big Island, Tongan influence? Any thoughts there, Masi?
Kona, yes, there is a lot of influence of Tongan in Kona. I believe one of the the females that came and married, I think Momo in Tonga, who's a Tui Tonga, came from Kona, from the Big Island. Her name was Nua. They produced the Tui Tonga Tui Tatui, which is pretty common now. So yes, there is. I think there is some strong connection there, and I find it very funny too that that's where Kamehameha came from, and
Mm,
Kamehameha had the strategy and the fortitude to unite all of Hawaii under one union of like a modern king, and I feel like that's interesting with that close tie and family ties. Maybe because I feel like having that knowledge only came from one place, Tongatapu, where it's common to have one ruler to unify all of Polynesia. But this is coming from Kona to unify all of Hawaii. He gotta get it from somewhere, or he surrounded himself with some family members that had that knowledge. I'm not too familiar with the Hamua Beach in Maui, but yeah, that's
wouldn't be
just my
surprised, right?
yeah,
Wouldn't be surprised.
yeah.
And that's see, and that's one of the other things that coming to the comment we had at the beginning of the podcast. There is not a rich, unless I mean I'm not a Hawaiian Islands historian by any chance, but there is not a rich history of a unified quote unquote Hawaiian Islands. Like
Mm,
Kamehameha the Great is called Kamehameha the Great because he seems to be the first one to unify the islands under a single rule, under a single government.
mm,
And our position so far is, well, that's because the Polynesian Empire, headquartered on Tongatapu, that was the governing body. That was the governing leader, was the Tuitonga. So there was no, we need to unite the Hawaiian Islands because you're already united under the
Correct.
Polynesian Empire.
And that unification by Kamehameha the Great was happening during what? When the empire is literally crumbling,
Yeah,
only existing to what Tonga it is today.
yeah.
But yeah.
One other comment before we come back is I heard there's a village in Hawaii called Tongatapu. I'm not aware of that. Are you aware of anywhere
Sorry,
on?
AJ. No, not that I know of. Not that I know
Yeah,
of.
neither am I.
Unless there's a modern name now that used to be kind of like Bora Bora, but it's kind of original name back in the days in ancient Polynesia was Vavau. So I don't know if it's something like that I don't know of, AJ.
Mm. Very possible, right? Because
Mm,
if I remember correctly, basically the Hawaiian language was it was basically destroyed. It was dead. No one was really speaking it. It had to be resurrected from the
yeah.
ashes, if I remember correctly. So
Mm,
okay, sweet, yeah, and because you know what, Kona and Kamehameha from the William Mariner book that we looked at, the
yeah.
Hawaiian from those islands said it was Tona, right? And
Yeah.
it probably was Tonga
Mm,
for Kona, but the English people don't really hear the ng sound as
yeah.
much. And then Kamehameha, the Hawaiian who visited Hawaii, they didn't call him Kamehameha. They called him
Kamehameha.
Kamehameha. So with a T. So just
Mm,
some interesting things to kind of keep in mind right there.
that is.
Another, well, we'll go to the next Grok. We just had two Grok questions, and then we'll go into the study and that Grok gave us in reference as to why Grok believed that, between the Tuitonga and the Tuimanua, he kind of took the position of the Tuitonga seems to be more likely to be an actual empire than the Tuimanua. And I say the we're not saying that Tuimanua did not exist. And I have to say this because someone's gonna say, "What do you mean that Tuimanua doesn't exist?" No, we know the title exists. What we're asking and questioning is, was it really the center and the foundation of an empire?
Mm,
Right? So that's the question we're saying. Don't want people to misunderstand that. So we also got a lot of pushback on one of the comments that was made on the podcast. People saying, "How dare you say that Tonga is the oldest self-governing active civilization in the world?" People kept bringing up Japan, World War II. Japan submitted to
Kenya.
the UN. Bring up Kenya. They bring up Ethiopia. They brought up all kinds of stuff, right?
Mm.
And there were pieces of time where these people fell. So that's one of the questions we asked Grok, right? What is the oldest self-governing country and civilization that has maintained the same governing family or structure without losing independence? You
All
want to
right.
read
Yep.
Mr. Grok's response, Mussy?
So this is what Gronk responds with.
Not to be
Base.
confused with Gronk from the Patriots.
Oh,
This is Grok, right?
Gronk the AI. Yeah. This is the AI everyone is talking about. So it's pretty cool that AI is here in the 21st century to assist us. So it goes based on the information provided, it appears that the oldest self-governing country with the same governing family or structure without losing independence is the Kingdom of Tonga. The sources mention that the Kingdom of Tonga is the only indigenous monarchy left in the Pacific, and it has been ruled by the same family since 1845. The current king, Tupou VI, is the sixth king in the line of succession from the first king of modern Tonga, George Tupou I. The sources also mention that Tonga was never colonized and has maintained its independence throughout history. Therefore, based on the evidence provided, it seems that the Kingdom of Tonga is the oldest self governing country with the same governing family or structure without losing independence. So I think this answers all the questions because I know there's been comments on the social media also mentioning, but Tonga was a protectorate and Tonga was colonized, through the protectorate. It's like, no, protectorate was a treaty agreed from one party to another, and Tonga was able to still govern itself while British agreed to take care of its foreign affairs. But yeah, I think this is pretty much like what Gronk is mentioning, just based on what is the data points that is pointing to. Tonga is the oldest active civilization
Yeah.
to this day,
Yeah.
without without being colonized. Yeah,
Exactly. And you know what I would add, and I don't know if Grok is taking it even further, because if it only takes 1845, you know, with active, I think where he's saying with the active
correct.
clause in there, he's saying 1845. But we take the position that, you know, Tupo the first, a cousin of Laufidi Tonga, that's the same family, right?
Yeah.
So it goes back to the Tuitonga, and then it goes back to Tangaloa. We're talking BC, possibly thousands of years BC, possibly.
No, and this is the part that we can still manage to live with AI, because AI got most of it. But like what you said, the details, I think this is where humans can fill in the gap to help AI. Was like, yes, Tuitong, right? Tangaloa pass on to the same family to the Tuitonga. Tuitonga's brother becomes the Tuihatagalawa. The Tuihatagalawa has a son, which becomes the Tuikangpolu, which is the current line now. So they're
Yes.
all the same related family. So we can even push that 1845 to when Tangaloa or the first Tuitonga Aho A2 became the first Tuitonga. So yeah, we can push that very further.
So here's some feedback from the brothers. Look, AJ is clapping his hand, drinking the giant cup, and he's saying, "No, Masi, your king now is not the rightful king." I'll take a stab at this first,
Go
right?
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
So I can understand why some people have that position, right? Because the Tuitonga, quote unquote, is the rightful heir. However, there are two things that I would say. First, there was a transition of authority from Tangaloa to the Tuitonga. If we're going to say that Tupo's family right now is not the rightful heir, then we would have to, even based off of oral history, the Tuitonga is not the quote unquote rightful heir, because the Tangaloa clan was there, and you could say one of Aho Etu's brothers,
Mm,
right? Could have
which were
been the
all, yeah.
quote unquote the rightful heir. However, as certain wise kings do, they say, yes, I have older sons, but for the future, I say this son is going to become the heir. We've seen it in the scriptures many times. We've seen it in traditional history.
Mm,
One of the things that we suggest or promote, and Masi can share if he disagrees, but I think he agrees, the same transition that happened with Tangaloa to the Tuitonga, for whatever reason, it seems like there was something happened, right? And that's what the story of Aho Etu is. There, whether there was a shift, I don't know. Was there another type of uprising, some kind of issue? Was there another foreign power threatening the Polynesian Empire? I don't know. But something happened that the Tangaloa title holder said, we need to change the way we're structured, right? We need to adapt our government, how we execute or whatever. That's why the Tuitonga title is installed, a new type of council or parliament.
mm,
I like to call it a parliament, some type of legislative body of the Falefa is created, a new governmental system that may have been different than the actual structure of the Tangaloa government system becomes the Tuitonga. We see that same pattern with the Tuitonga and the current king today, the Tupo family. And we expressed that on some of our other
mm.
podcasts, AJ. The Tuitonga could have easily ruined Tupo the first. And what we're saying ruin is, we're not saying he has to win the battle. All he has to do is cause chaos. England's going to come in, colonize, or someone else. But
And really
yeah,
colonize. Yeah.
and really colonize and take over. It seems like Laufidi Tonga, just like Tangaloa Etumatupua said, hey, look, the times have changed. We need to adapt. And just like he chose one of his sons, it's still the same family, still the same blood in many senses. It seems like Laufiri Tonga looked at Tupou the first. They both grew up in Mua,
Mua.
right? A lot of people try to say, oh, he's a Tui Ha'apai. He's a, yes, but his mother was from Mua. It was the Taula, the Tui Tonga's priest that saved his life, and they raised him in Mua, and they knew each other. Basically, they're cousins, they're family. And so when Laufiri Tonga looks at Tupou the first, he's saying, you know what? And I'm putting in some narrative, my own narrative, is it's better that my cousin, who's done a great job in gathering political and military power, and he seems to have a vision of adapting our people to this new world, this new way of thinking, and this new power that's coming in. He says, I am going to, just like Tangaloa did for Aoetu,
Mm,
provide a Kava ceremony, like the Kava bowl,
mm.
installed Aoetu as the Tuitonga. We're saying that the Tuitonga Laufiri Tonga seems to have done the same thing by providing a Taumafa Kava
Yeah.
for Tupou the first, and in a sense, legitimizing Tupou the first as an heir. That's just my response to AJ's comment. Any thoughts on that, Mussy?
No, if AJ can just break it down exactly what's not the rightful king, but yeah, no, just to add on to your answer to no, and this is why we're saying, and this is why we mentioned that Tonga, the leaders of Atui Tonga, you can only have this vision of like, instead of causing chaos, right? And then having the foreigners, because a lot of the foreigners really took over all of Polynesia. A lot of them was not through militarily. A lot of it was just because a lot of the people just, there was no structure. The
Yeah,
Palangis came, created a government or a structure, and just ran things from there, and everyone just fell in
civilize
line.
them, right?
Yeah,
They saw it
fell in.
as like being kind. We're gonna civilize you.
Yes. So for Laufiri Tonga to even see that vision and recognizing that Taufahau had this gift, we can say it's a gift because even Taufahau getting to be a Tuikang Polu was pretty much a miracle with
Yes.
how that happened. So that's why Laufiri Tonga saying this and allowing that to happen, to me, that's really a love for the nation, because you must have the vision. And during this time, and this is like in the 1800s, many of Polynesia was being colonized, a lot of it because they just didn't know or didn't have that knowledge. But Laufri Tonga, through his ancestors and having all of this information of how to be a leader. Another example was it Tui Tonga Pau, I believe, that asked Captain Cook,
Yeah.
what was he
What are you
doing
doing
here?
here?
Captain Cook didn't even know how to respond because he never had that kind of question when he went through Hawaii and the other islands, in the Pacific, New Zealand and stuff. So that's another reason why you love these leaders. You don't. It just didn't happen out of nowhere. This is all of these things happen because you had the skills and knowledge of how to be a leader or an empire. So yeah, that's pretty much my answer to that. It was more of an addition to your answer, but if AJ can break it down exactly why it's, if it's the current king now, or is it because of the whole
Yeah.
transition or something, but
He does provide a
some clarity.
follow-up, some
Mm.
clarity, and we can clear this up for you, AJ. I'm just sending a comment with the email to Brown Monk so
Okay,
that he
nice,
can
nice.
email a link. He has a link here. Um, and you can post post the link here in the chat, Brown Monk, and I can try and copy and paste it, or email the link to that email address, and I can pull it up from there.
Nice.
So AJ says no. The king now comes from the Tuiha Takalaua lineage, Masi. And I understand why he's saying that. You want to kind
Mm.
of cover some of that ground and
Yes,
give AJ the context. We don't
yes.
disagree with that,
Mm.
um,
Mm.
AJ, but we're going to give some clarity for that. Go ahead, Masi.
Yeah. No, and this is the reason why they changed the name. It's like a Tongan etiquette thing because they know the Tui Hatagalawa where it stands. And part of the Tongan tradition, there was a reason why it was taken away when Tupo the First was installed. And I think I don't know if it was a generation Tua or a two generation before they reinstituted to the same family, but they changed the name, and that's why they changed the name from Tui Hatagalawa to Tungi, which is Tungi is still being passed, and it's still recognized. The Kalanivalu, which is the
Mm-hmm.
Tuitonga lineage, the same thing, changed the name to Kalanivalu, but they're still the same family, but just for you know Tongan etiquette kind of thing. When you do your kava ceremony, it's you change the name and the Tuikanupolu, which is in charge, and which, like what you mentioned to when you have the Tuitonga allowing the transition and installing the Taumafakava, because the Tuitonga was known more for the, I think Dad mentioned was the Furitaunga was their thing, changing it and teaching the Tuikanupolu because they were just only Ilo Kava to the
Mm-hmm.
Taumafakava. That legitimized the Tuikanupolu as being like the modern king of all of Tonga, and that's why they still take the name of the Tuikanupolu with the Tupo name as the leader. So that's my explanation for that. Tua, unless I'm missing something or you have a
Yes.
different perspective.
Yeah, the different. I think to answer, and it's good you gave that perspective, and I'm going to build on that just in case AJ's question is. I was thinking he may be asking because Tungi Mairefihi, right? That Tungi
Hmm.
is the Hatakalaua, like you're mentioning. That Tungi is the descendant from the Hatakalaua, but
Yes.
Queen Salote was the carrier of the Tuikanukupolu line. She had some
Mm,
Tuitonga blood as well, because they're all at the end of the day, they're all family. All these
mm,
all these people are from the Tuitonga. But the inheriting of power, political and military power, did not come from Tungi. Though Tungi brings in the Hatakalaua
legitimacy. Yes.
blood into Tupo the Fourth. That's why it was kind of a big deal that Queen Salote married Tungi Mairefihi, because it brought two main
Yes.
kingly lines together. And then obviously, it looks like just real quick before we come back, Renegade does mention here, and we agree, even the Tuihatakalaua is from the Tuitonga. So yeah, in a sense, it's still the same family. But it was the Tuikanukupolu was the line that Tupo the First used to claim power and
Mm,
establish the kingly line, which is kind of funny. Masi kind of referenced it that a couple of times. He used the Samoan voting system because that's how the Tuikanukupolu was selected.
it was a
Tupo the
voting.
First miraculously gets elected, right? He sends Maafu to Fiji. He sends Maafu's brother to Samoa, while he kind of positions. Once he gets voted in and gets power, then he no longer follows the voting system. He goes back to the Tui Hatakalaua and the Tui
Tonga
Tonga
way.
system of father to son, father to son. Obviously, that changes with Queen Salote. And
Yeah.
that is just another way of adapting to the changing times to maintain power, because England was closing in on colonization, and Tonga had to do an emergency in the middle of the night installation of Queen Salote, just to say we still have a leader.
Mm,
Don't take over us. We're still organized.
yeah.
Um,
No. No. And just to add on to that, yeah, and Tungi, Mailefi, he could have pulled another one. The Tungi family could have pulled another one and just say, just don't do anything and let things just crumble. And then we would have
yeah,
been colonized maybe even before or during the time of Queen Salote being having no marriage and prosperity. So,
and dude, that's a very interesting point you're making there, Masi, and I've never thought of
eh,
it,
eh,
because the Tuikanukupolu once again is in a very vulnerable position. You're
mm,
gonna say it because Queen Salote inheriting it goes against all tradition.
correct,
The
correct.
the the tried and true. That's a very good point. That's a very good point. The Tui Hatakalaua and the Tui Tonga, who are now Tungi and Kalanivalu, if they were going to be opportunists, like we see
Yes.
in Europe, this happens in Europe all the
Yeah.
time, right? Somebody
Yeah.
gets installed as king or queen, they get killed, they get challenged, they get removed for whatever reason. But I've never thought of that. That's
Yeah.
actually another miraculous point is Tungi Maidefi, he could have said, no, I'm not going to marry you and legitimize your
Yes.
line. I'm going to challenge. Very
Yes.
interesting. And that's obviously the advisors to Queen Salote, they were probably trying to leverage the Tuiha Takalaua's power and influence to strengthen Queen Salote's position. And I
Yes.
never thought about that before.
Yes. No, and even when Queen Charlotte was in the marriage, a lot of her upbringing and teaching of the way of kingship, she had to go to Mu'a from the
Yeah.
stories I would hear, and kind of the Mu'a elders or the custom holders of Mu'a would kind of raise her because she was really young. She was really young when she was bestowed queen of Tonga. So yeah.
Hey, another regular. Welcome
Hey,
to the
Clyde
Kava
Moore,
Sesh,
Malo.
Clyde Moore. Malo. Here's a couple other. Yeah. Hey, Brown Monk, no problem, man. Send that over. Let me check my emails. And if not
Nice.
today, we may bring up that have some discussion on that. And you know what? Even better, Brown Monk, maybe if you're up to it, man, join us on one of these live sessions and we can walk through the list with you, have some
Mm.
discussion on it. So appreciate you sending that over. I don't know the answer to this question, Masi. Do you know the answer behind that?
What is the meaning of Tagalawa? It could be a clan of some Tagalawa after a name. See, and that's the thing. Isn't there a Tagalawa Tuitonga Tua? I was looking at Dad's list, and
Yes.
I don't know if it was before the creation of the Tui Tagalawa or after,
Let me
but
let
I
let
know
me
there's a Tagalawa Tuitonga Tagalawa, and I just
yes. And you know, this is something that actually I've been thinking about. Let me see if I can find
mm,
I may still have the Tuitonga
yeah.
list, but
But yeah,
uh,
Shionetangi, that's what I'm thinking that the Tagalawa could come from. It could be a naming of a previous Tuitonga that was Tagalawa, but I just don't know the timeline on that. I could be wrong. But just taking it like Ha'amoa.
that's
Uh,
what I was thinking came to my mind,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Then this is more of a question for hopefully, well, looks like Starlink is back. We can have our older brother who's in Tonga, who's kind of really well versed in Tongan history and how
Family
what
history, Tongan
happened,
history.
family
That guy,
history, and
yeah,
even of old Tongan words. He's really good at. He's probably after Devita Fale, he's probably the next person to go to. He can probably provide a better clarity. But that's what I'm thinking, Tua, regarding that. But if you had the timeline, maybe we
I'm gonna
could.
pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up right now.
Yeah.
Um, because I want to see the relation there. Because an interesting thing is, like you were mentioning about, the Ha'amoa and the Ha'atakalaua,
Mm-hmm.
and that may be a similitude right there, right?
Mm,
That the Tuitonga has the Tui Manua sent to Samoa as a representative or something of that sort. Let's see. So it's
isn't there a Tagalawa? Okay, so it must be after that.
so this right here.
Number
This is when
38.
the yeah.
Mm,
Oh, there. That's where. Okay, we don't. I don't know the meaning of Takalaua, but this is Kaulufonua Fekai. This is the guy. His father is assassinated.
correct.
Takalaua is
Correct.
assassinated. This is the story where Kaulfonua. That's where he gets the name Fekai. Right. He
Yes.
chases the assassins. Hundreds of miles navigating finally catches them in Wallace and Futuna or somewhere over there. Or, no,
Yeah,
Uvea,
yeah. Uvea,
somewhere. I can't
Uvea.
remember which island. Catches them, brings them back. He actually like drinks their blood and stuff or whatever,
Yeah.
knocks
Eats
out
them
all their
all up, I think.
teeth.
Yeah.
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 So apparently catches them, knocks out all of their teeth, has them chew the kava as it's bleeding, and then drinks it.
Shit.
So what we're getting to here is with Kaulfo no Fekai, what he does is after he kills the assassins and he becomes the Tuitonga, he installs his brother as the Tuiha Takalaua, which is
Correct.
obviously in reference to his father's name.
So that's where the Tagalawa come from. Yeah.
That's
So
where the
yeah,
Takalawa comes
I was
from.
right. Yeah. Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. And
No, thanks
so
for that. Thanks for
yeah.
that clarity too with the story. That's pretty cool. I forgot about that that oral history on that.
And this is honestly the more we look at and we have these conversations online in these digital kava sessions, this is the beginning of the unmaking of the tuitonga from my perspective. Because traditionally the tuitonga handled the inasi and the polo polo and the administration of the government.
Mm.
It's the undoing of the tuitonga, but it's the saving of the civilization at the same time. Because once Kaulfo Nuafekai splits the responsibility, he says, you know, the first Tuiha Takalawa, you're going to take care of all the administrative part. I'm only going to take care of the polo polo and the religious
Yes, aspect.
part.
Yeah.
That eventually leads to the Tuikanukupolu line, multiple kingly lines, which eventually, in this moment, it's the Tuitonga gets replaced through the Tuikanukupolu, but that saves the independence of the people. So it's an interesting thing that's when we look at the Tuiha Takalawa, that is the beginning of that discussion
That
right there.
so that's where it comes from. Yeah. There we go. Siane.
So we're gonna come back here. We'll try and catch up on all the comments. Our comments are filling up here, Mussy. So
Okay. Okay.
we'll catch up from those. Yeah, as mentioned here, clan of Takalawa, who was the Tuitonga, but his son created the Tuiha Takalawa. Yes, correct. That's what we just confirmed there.
Guardian
Renegade.
Renegade.
What is the importance of the king taking the European king's names? That was just kind of like a religious thing. Not a
Bringing the new
religious, like a
religious.
yes. It's just kind of recognizing,
This is
I'm
where
the
the Christianity came from. Kind of. It's more of
correct.
like it's part of it's like I said. It's part of the humility of what still exists in Tonga today. You usually name your child after somebody that's done something. It's just part of the tradition kind of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna try and just skip through the different comments to kind of see the ones that are related because I know there's a delay right in the
Mm,
live.
mm, mm.
Yes, the Tui Tonga Takalawa was assassinated and killed. His son created the Tui Takalawa. Correct.
Correct.
El Lobo, welcome, welcome,
Malo, malo.
or should I say, bienvenido, the wolf. Welcome. Let's see. Right here, Brown Monk, Tatuy Hatakalua ran concurrent with Tatuy Tonga beginning with, yes, Kaulfo Nuafekai, his brother Mongamoto. Yep, 100% agreed there. Um, yes, the last Mele, yep, the Mulikamea, that's the Tatuy Hatakalua. That was the last
Mm,
Tatuy Hatakalawa. Once he was killed in a war, and then his title was not replaced.
yeah.
Um, Let's see here. Here's another quick question. And then after we go through that, we'll get into the article maybe.
Mm.
Um, oh, no, that's not it. Any star mounds in Tonga? I'm not aware of any, Mussy. I mean, we had pigeon mounds, and I just read an
Yes.
article today that is their best guess so far is that the star mounds were used for like a competitive pigeon competition.
Snaring. Yeah. I think there were star mounts in Tonga, but it could be like I said, it was the purpose was to catch large pigeons because apparently back in those days in Tonga the pigeons were huge and huge birds. But yeah, star mounts could be more of a pigeon, just like the star mounts that are currently in Upolu. and sabay.
Yeah. Sia Heulupe Nacho. Agreed. That's what we're thinking it is. Okay. All right. But any kind of closing thoughts, Mussy, on the whole study, the whole position we're taking, the whole discussion, any kind of closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts is I think we've able to at least maybe you can agree to this or not to it, but at least we're coming to the conclusion that the Tui Manua seems to be a title that was created during the Tui Tonga era. That's what it seems like it's
Yes.
coming down.
Yeah.
And we've kind of and you kind of started this discussion, and it makes sense that it's usually the oldest brother or sibling, and maybe there was some kind of issue, just like with how Tangaloa happened with the Tuitonga, and even in the Tuitonga era, not all the firstborn kind of got the title. Something happened, and they still give someone from the Tuitonga a high title of Tuimanua, and they just kind of live the rest of their life within the Tuimanua, which has always been collected to make it like what is Samoa today. But we know that Manua has always been a unique category throughout its history. So that could explain why it was a person of rank that did not receive the highest title, more
Mm.
of a rank within the family, but not the highest title of Polynesia during that time. But yeah, no, thank you, and I appreciate everyone's contribution and comments. Keep bringing those comments. If you have any questions or anything, we do our best to answer them. But I appreciate everyone's creating a great live session for today in this Polynesian Eyes podcast. Malo.
Yep. Not 100%. I appreciate once again, like Masi said, always fun to have the interaction. That's why we try to do the lives more often, especially for like general episodes, because then we can do the live, interact with the viewers, and then also we'll still upload it into the podcast channel, on the audio and on the visual, as well. Looks like a water bear is full. Wow. We must be missing out on some of the chats here or something. Oh, I see it now. My bad. See, this is the thing. I appreciate all the comments and stuff, because I try my best to stay on top of the comments, but it looks like we missed some. So AJ's comment brings back. It says James Cook wrote in his journals about the marijuana. The marijuana that was disputed from the Tui Nalania, who comes from the land of the talking lion.
Taufua
Oh,
aupito
boy.
ai kawa. That's why Waterburst is speaking like that. He's not taking all the kava
Mm.
powder away. He's putting it all in and drinking the whole thing. And
Inu
he's
taufua.
he's had a revelation that this is just what's happening. Maria Waterburst, Maria.
Hey, what a
We believe in
bears.
personal revelation.
Ew.
We believe in personal revelation.
I think you're not on Earth. I think you're in Pulotu right
No.
now. You're kind of halfway between. Oh man.
Maria, Maria.
That's hilarious. Hey, sorry guys if we missed some of the comments, and but appreciate it. We try our best to get to all the comments. Honestly, I have been pretty shocked on how successful we've been so far, to be honest, on the on the podcast. We were hoping to accomplish a couple things. Number one, have fun, right? Hey, Nalania. Brown Monk likes that one, Water Bears. We wanted to have fun. We wanted to have an opportunity to discuss some ideas, encourage discussions, also, give David Tafale a platform to express some of his findings and his effort and research, and just have what we have right here, a digital Kava session. We've enjoyed it. Really want to reiterate, it is not our intent to be divisive. We want just to have the conversation, let the ideas compete, have the ideas fight, but as brothers and sisters, we can enjoy each other's conversation, share ideas. We learn a lot from each other. And honestly, appreciate it. I can't express how helpful sharing, commenting, subscribing does for us, because it just helps us get the message out further.
Yep.
But really appreciate it. Yep, 100%. We look forward to hosting the digital Kava sessions as well. Malo Clyde Moore
Hello.
and Malo Shione Kurt Malo Albito. And as always, stay curious,
Mm,
ask the questions, and most importantly, remember we are all the same people. We
mm,
all are one people. We should be very proud, and we should be looking forward to the opportunity to discuss our history. We have a lot to be proud of. And honestly, I really do believe this. We have a role to play in this world. And I haven't, put my thumb on what exactly it is, but there's just too many things. Our ancestors were led here to the last place on earth to be settled. We are the last place to be discovered. I think there's something we're bringing to the table that the world needs, and it's becoming evident by how Polynesians are just having such a huge influence above our quote unquote weight in the
mm,
world. So appreciate 100%. Couldn't agree more, Brown Monk. This is a gathering of our people, and I 100% agree with that. Looking forward and hearing from Danny Suntoko. Yes, hopefully we can get Elon Musk now that Starlink's there. Maybe we can get some reliable internet.
mm.
He has made an effort to join, but just the internet
Yeah, connection,
connectivity is
connectivity.
failing us. But
Mm,
with that being said, thank you, everyone. Keep fighting the good fight. Stay curious.
mm.
And until next time, see you later.
See ya.
Malo. And for whoever still has some kava left over, kataki iareva, in one drink, finish it all. Peace.